Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome to episode 104 of The Next Block. We're here to talk about crypto, a whole bunch of other things. We got a guest backstage. If you've been seeing us on Twitter, you know who it is. How you doing, Crypto for Change?
I'm doing good, doing good. It's been a wild few weeks in the crypto world. We've had obviously some volatility the past couple weeks with everything from Bitcoin to the dollar to the stock market. Obviously having some crazy things going on with it, and the meme coin market's been going wild. But I think it seems like we're getting ready for the next big inflection point in the market. And honestly, I'm excited to have Tony from Thinking Crypto on to discuss it because he's obviously a guy in the space who's very deeply rooted in not only a lot of his interviews from the legal standpoint of crypto to just a lot of the facts that most people I feel like don't really know. So it's always good to pick his brain. Plus, he just wrote a book and it just dropped this past week. So we're going to hear about his new book that just dropped from him. And honestly, that should be really exciting. I'm excited to read it because, like I said, he's a guy who has a lot of information, a lot of knowledge about the space, and it's always a fun conversation. So ready to kick it off.
Most definitely. Tony be active on this channel, so make sure y'all go give him a subscribe for sure. All right, without further ado, let's bring Tony on from Thinking Crypto. What's good, Tony?
Hey guys, great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, it's another great day in the bull market, man. Exciting times. I know there's been a bit of a cool down, but we got another leg up. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
It definitely feels like the next leg is close, if not, within the next couple of weeks, some point in May to maybe June. Like, I could see it being something that, maybe takes a little bit longer, right? We get a couple head fakes for Bitcoin. But, it kind of just depends upon the macro stage and what's going on. But nonetheless, like, there is definitely a lot of people who are fearing like that this is the top for the this cycle, and I just don't see it. Like I said, I could definitely see a bigger drawdown, but I still see a higher high being made at some point in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at macro factors like global liquidity is on the rise, the M2 money supply. I know when we talk about crypto, we don't usually talk much about what the Fed and central banks are doing around the globe. But I think if you look at the data from guys like macro investors like Raoul Pal, it shows the correlation as they keep injecting money into the economy in different ways, whether it's quantitative easing or bailing out this bank or whatever. It adds to the money supply. And what we've seen is asset prices rise with it. So crypto is not exempt from that. It's crypto, stocks, real estate, and much more.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the government's only going to do one thing with the dollar, and that's print more of them. So it's either you can try to play the game of crypto and try to avoid getting dumped on by some of these tokens out here, or you can get dumped on by your own government one. It's it's pick your poison at times. But obviously, we got a lot to talk about. So let's first jump into. I really do want to highlight your book. Before we kind of talk too much about the markets, kind of tell us a little bit about your book. Obviously, where people can go get it. Rethinking Crypto. Yeah. I won't say too much. I want to hear you talk about it.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I've always wanted to write a book. It's been a bucket list item of mine for a very long time, but I just didn't know what the topic would be. And obviously, crypto and blockchain came along, and I've always been passionate about technology and looking at disruptive future technology and what that looks like. So, of course, I fell in love with crypto and blockchain immediately and went down the rabbit hole and studied it and listened to smart people talk about it. And then I finally got it, and I created my own podcast and so forth. But then, as things progress, I realized this is a very complex technology and asset class. You talk to the average Joe and Jane on the street, and they're like, what? A lot of things just go over their head. It's new concepts. It's very much like, if you're in the horse and buggy days, and then a guy comes along and says, here's a combustion engine.
Yeah.
And here's how it's going to work, and how you can drive a car. And they're like, what? Right? It's that type of moment that's happening in this period of time. So it's pretty historic. But, what really threw people off was the Sam Bankman-Fried FTX situation. When I talk to random people, even my own family members, they're like, isn't that the guy who destroyed Bitcoin, or he stole all the Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Or didn't he like crash crypto where it's not coming back? That's the perception they have, because many times they just read headlines. And I realize that. And there needs to be an education, like, hey, there's a technology, there's an asset class, and then there's a bad actor. And I often give the example of Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
In a regulated market, Bernie Madoff scammed the hell out of people, right? Very smart people on Wall Street. Think about it.
Yeah.
with a market that's been around for a long time with regulations. Now imagine crypto, which is not fully regulated, how bad actors can take advantage. So the book talks about that and why difference, and why if you self-custodied your crypto, it didn't matter FTX, what the hell Sam Bankman-Fried did. Nothing
Yeah,
happened.
my mom called me and was like, make sure you got your little cryptos off of that FTX. You know nothing about crypto.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's the great thing. I think we have to highlight to people, hey, there's nuances here. This is not, Sam Bankman-Fried didn't kill crypto. I also include some investment tips when you're looking to invest in crypto. What are the do's and don'ts? And I think that's important. What are the checks you need to do? Understand tokenomics. And then I document the regulatory battles, why it's happening, why the SEC, why the lawsuits, because I think that's important because there's a political factor here. And then I talk about the Bitcoin ETF race with BlackRock and why they're entering the market. And then I talk about what the future looks like, CBDCs, token economy, meme coins, NFTs, tokenization. So all of that is in this book.
Yeah. And hey, and it's super needed, especially just like our podcast, your podcast that you do all the time, interviewing a lot of these people who are in the space. It's because I catch myself when me and my wife go out to dinner with a couple or just hanging out with friends. They obviously, especially in this market we're in now, they're interested, right? They'll ask me questions like, hey, you're into crypto, like, what should I be buying and all these stuff. And then I just immediately just start kind of going into my, not even like an elevator pitch, but just like spiel. And like literally 30 seconds in, you can just tell everything is gone over their head. And it's just like, and that's where I pause and I'm just like, you know what, you should probably just watch, some of my YouTube, lives, because I feel like I break it down a little easier, or we could get together and I could show you on a computer how it works, because a lot of people are visual, maybe like myself. But yeah, my wife is all the time like, you do realize that they have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. And I'm like, it's so true. Like, it's literally like, you get deer in the headlights. And it's even like, before we even started the show, I was talking about the guy who was going around interviewing people about meme coins, right? And he was showing them two pictures, one of them being a picture of Arbitrum, the token, and then the other one being the token of dog with hat, or WIF, which is obviously one of the hottest meme coins right now, asking regular everyday people, which one of these would you buy if you had $100? And even not even which one would you buy, but which one do you think has a higher market cap, and which one do you think is more valuable, and all this stuff. Most people were pointing to dog with hat. And it's just like, that's the level with which most people comprehend crypto, is everything is a meme. There is no seriousness in the crypto space. It's all, honestly, that should be a book. I should write that book, and it should just be titled "It's All a Meme." Honestly, that's a great idea.
It's all a meme.
Tony, we gotta connect, because I'm not a good writer though. That's the only thing. So you got to show me some tips on how to actually write a successful book, because I'm sure yours is going to be very successful.
I appreciate what's interesting was, like, when last time I spoke to like some friends and family about crypto, they literally brought up NVIDIA. I'm like, NVIDIA is not a crypto, because they, the headlines keep like, oh, AI. So they figure it was like Bitcoin, which was a very funny situation. But yeah, I think my conversations are similar. It's more of, should I buy crypto, or they be like, should I buy the Bitcoins with an S? Should I buy that? And then I'm like, you got to do your research first, and then I try to tell them to slowly drip in. I always think that's the best thing, because a lot of them want to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's fascinating. And, you brought up NVIDIA. This whole meme craze started with stocks, right? Meme stocks, GameStop and so forth, and AMC. And then it spilled over into crypto. But with crypto, it's a different dynamic, because it's a truly global asset class that runs 24/7. There's no opening and closing bell. There's no, like, the whole Robin Hood situation. There's nothing like that. So it's fascinating, man. And this is, I think, an indication of what's to come in the future, of how people will crowdsource, how they will have equity in brands and things that they are passionate about. Even if it's memes, as crazy as it is, it's human behavior and psychology and culture on the blockchain.
Yeah. And I have a perfect example. I myself love to dive heavy into these things. I don't care if I'm wrong at the end of the day. Like, to me, it's fun, right? Even if I'm risking a little bit of money in memes, right? I'm not saying you should be risking and aping all of your money. You should probably be buying sound investments. But I found a token, right, that was launching on Base. It was a meme called Higher. And honestly, the first of it was just pure speculation meme of a green arrow pointing up. Now, fast forward a little bit, right? Higher has now ran from what was nothing, right? A less than 100K market cap coin with a bunch of people just in a a channel on Warpcast, which is a social media app, to now it ran up to 100 million market cap token. Obviously, it's sitting now around like 30, 40 million. I bought a hoodie, right? This is right there. That's the logo of it. And now they're trying to not only create just this meme coin, but a brand like something like a Supreme, Adidas, Nike, a lifestyle brand, right? Something that people can really connect with and vibe with. And it is true that, you will see a whole different group of investing and just brands being built in totally new models, right? It's going to break the existing models of, oh, if I have a successful idea, I need to do a private source, private round of funding with VCs, and then build this business from the ground up, and then, then sell it, pretty much on the public market on the stock exchange to pretty much cash out. Where it's like you could actually crowdfund and source in a way more decentralized way that would actually make, I feel like, the people who were started with it more inclined to stick with it and to continue to see it grow. Like right now, I'm invested in it higher, not only from a money standpoint, but from creating art, creating memes.
Yeah, you got me to create a higher anthem.
Yeah,
so make sure y'all check out that new song as well.
Yeah, we
it's
launched.
a fun
Yeah,
one.
Seawill launched a song about Hire on Zora, which is on Base. You can mint it, and you can literally listen to his song straight from your Coinbase wallet. I mean,
Yep.
it really is really cool to see. I mean, I'm sure you could even mint. I don't know yet, but you could probably mint your book as an NFT, right? I know there is a thing on Algorand that you can mint books, but like that's the future of like any of these things. Anyone, if you are an individual who can create and then create value and people find it valuable, really it's the world's open to you now, whereas a lot of it was closed to only certain people before.
Yeah, and I think people forget that. Look, for example, people in India, many of them can't access the New York Stock Exchange, right? And even the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Not everyone can access these markets and so forth and these assets. But with Bitcoin and crypto, you have a truly global asset class that you can literally put your own fiat currency and buy a fraction of it, which is incredible. And some people may say, well, hey, what about gold? Gold was around forever around the globe. Yes, but it's not real time and verifiable. I can't look at the wallet just see the supply in real time, right? So it has never been anything like crypto and blockchain. It's fascinating, man. What you brought up about the branding. Imagine if, and I think this is going to be the future, like Nike launches a token, right? And that token exists within their ecosystem, but because of the blockchain, it can go to other blockchains, interoperability, and you can spend it outside of the ecosystem and cash it in, but also secondary markets, you can lend it out and earn passive income. There's so many possibilities.
Well, I always think about like just rewards programs in general. Then the also like the gaming tokens and credits, all of that is being coming on the blockchain, interoperable, as you said, and then you could buy NFTs with it that you can then use inside the game. There's so many things that are happening. And I know for like the younger generation, when I was like, in high school and all that, that would have been a killer right there. Playing all those video games and you're earning all these tokens. You'll be up all night, with the Nintendo
you'd be
64
grinding
and all of that. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is they're building this in. I mean, you got Base. I think, when Base and Coinbase first did their on-chain summer, I minted a few things and whatnot, but it's that whole idea of like feeling like you're a part of something early and like just almost like a herd mentality. I feel like Coinbase is going to do that again when they try to bring on the next 100 million. I know their goal is the next billion users into crypto, but that's honestly what is going to happen. Is you have all these people who are going to want to earn they want to get these airdrops, they want to have this NFT, they want to feel a part of the crowd. And I think that's also just like you said, Nike goes out and drops a token. Yeah, a lot of people are going to want that token. Just like when Starbucks kind of did it, although there was some kickback. I think it just has to be done in the right way. Right. And to your point, Tony, that's why I think I'm not as excited about Nike dropping their token or Adidas or whatever it is. I'm excited about the brands that are being built now from the ground up. Those are the ones that are going to disrupt the Nikes. Like I'd say there's nothing that, a higher or something else that's out there. Even it could be a meme like Whiff, right? And could become a brand. I don't know, but there is going to be many things that challenge the status quo and have a lot better model for the longevity of a brand and being built, and things that can happen at a decentralized level. It's going to be exciting nonetheless, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like to give the analogy of social networks. You
Mm,
think about Facebook and MySpace and all these things, they monetize your activity, but you don't get to
Yep.
earn anything.
mm,
You don't get any reward or whatever it is.
yeah,
Now, if you hold a stock price, sure, you may get some benefit, but then you have to put a ton of money in. And it's also the variable of the markets, right? Because
mm,
we have bull
Mhm.
and bear markets. But with tokens, you truly have equity and ownership. You're part
yeah,
of the network. You can join a governance council. You can participate in votes and so forth. And those tokens open up more possibilities. Like you can spend them, you can cash them out, and do a lot more than if you had a few shares of Facebook, right?
yeah,
And you participating on the network makes it valuable, and you're earning. Whether it be staking or other DeFi protocols or whatever it may be, you're earning, and you have more opportunities to earn versus I'm posting on X or I'm posting on Facebook and I don't get anything.
right.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
say,
the part that always gets me is like, Facebook, for example, and they got the TikTok ban slowly happening. They're claiming that data is being stolen, but that's the whole business model of Experion, T-Mobile,
mhm,
Facebook, and a whole bunch of other companies. And as you said, we get no value from that at all. So I like when, getting my airdrops, right? Dripping out when I stake or anything that I do. And then we talk about video games, like Fractal Monsters on Algorand is doing all kind of partnerships. You
mhm.
play that game, you win a lot of coins. Those coins have actual value. You can trade them on dexes, and it's all, what you want to do straight from your crypto wall. Is always amazing to me.
Yeah. And we kind of touched on this, but let's go a little deeper into it. What are your thoughts right now with what we're seeing in the market cycles play out? As far as like the meme coin craze, right, kind of started to die off a little bit, right? And altcoins especially took a big dip when Bitcoin was kind of showing some weakness around that 73, 74K area. Do you think we're looking at, on the verge of a bigger looming correction, and this might be a mid-cycle top for Bitcoin and for the, kind of all the altcoin market? Or do you think this is just a ranging period that we're in before the next big leg up?
It's I have a couple of theories on this. Um, on one hand, I believe the blow up top is going to happen this year or early 2025. The reason
Mm,
I have this thesis is I believe the markets are front running the rate cuts. And
mm,
Mm.
people may say, well, why does this matter? Well, historically, this is data now. It's not my opinion, but we've seen crashes when they start cutting rates. You
yeah.
go back to every time 2019, 2008. And it's funny how it aligns with these economic problems and so forth, because usually something's breaking and then they start panicking. And it's like, oh, we better start cutting,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
cool down a bit. So I think markets know that, and they're forward looking, and we saw a massive run up of Bitcoin. However, the charts could reflect 2013, where you had a massive run up, a good type correction, but then a bigger bull off top run after that. Or this is a cool down phase where we're gonna spike right back up around 60K, or maybe it goes to 52 and bounce from there. But I think in aligning with what the Fed's doing, we know they're not going to cut anytime soon. Inflation is still
Yeah.
a problem, so higher for longer. And then the markets have been ripping based on that, because they they are anticipating that, okay, the Fed's not cutting yet. We still got ways to go, and there's a lot of liquidity left over from the pandemic era.
Mm,
So I have a thesis that is going to blow off this year. So I think we're going to see more run up this year. Bitcoin higher highs, meme coins will run, and some of these altcoins which have been lagging are going to run as well. But then there's also the other thesis that it's a normal 4-year cycle, and Bitcoin did something it never did before, but it will
yeah.
all self-correct and catch up into the 4-year timeline. So we'll see.
So here's something I was actually not thinking of. Obviously, I'm going to give the credit to Credible Crypto. I don't know if you follow him on
Mhm.
Twitter, but he kind of, I started, someone put me onto his Twitter account. I wasn't following him before, but I started digging through his thesis of lengthening cycles,
Mhm.
and honestly, it makes a hell of a lot of sense, especially with what you're saying that we are going to see the blow off top sometime in 2024. Maybe it slides to the beginning of 2025, but the whole idea is like the first cycle, took like 300 days, right, to get to that blow off top. And then you had the next cycle took like 700 days. And the next cycle took like, I think it was 1,300 days. And then the most recent cycle that people would say, which is from the 2018 to 2022, I think, or something like that, from that, or 2021, that blow off top would have been again 1,300 days roughly. So it would have actually broken what had been happening before, with the cycle takes longer from trough to peak for Bitcoin. And so, but if you play out the lengthening cycles theory, that would mean that the 2021 was actually a mid-cycle top. And this is still the actual big run up to end, that lengthened cycle that would go to 2024 to 2026, somewhere in that period. But it looks like, obviously, with the macro factors, 2024, 2025 makes the most sense. And honestly, it even made more sense to me when I was thinking about it, because would we have even seen that blow off top in 2021 if COVID didn't happen? And I don't think we would have. Because if you take away all that liquidity that got injected into the market, like literally that was like over 2/3 of all the money got printed in that period. So if you take away all of that money, would Bitcoin have even ran from the 20K area all the way to 60K, and then really ranged for a year in that 30 to 60K area before all of the fallacies in the crypto market, FTX, all those bad things, Three Arrows Capital, and all the shenanigans that were being done, Terra Luna, and all the crashes? That is the debate that you have to start to think about, and that's why I think this lengthening cycles idea actually has a lot more meat on the bone than maybe some think. And it's not this typical 4-year cycle where, okay, Bitcoin just had the halving, that means it's going to peak, X time from there, like it's done every other time. I just don't think that's the case, especially like you said, when you lay over the M2 money supply and liquidity, which is what drives these markets. It's not this 4-year cycle. It's not the halving, it's liquidity. And so I don't know, when you plug all those in, it definitely seems to me like we're going to be in for a pretty big summer to end of fall.
And Tony, can you also add your thoughts on just the Bitcoin ETFs, like demand? Because I'm watching, studying, and one of the guys I'm studying, Simon, is like, it's the demand, not necessarily the pullbacks or the halving narrative. It's the demand for Bitcoin, which a lot of geopolitics correlates to that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. The demand is certainly increased because of the ETFs, right? It's now easily accessible for people to access Bitcoin, because it goes back to why I wrote the book, where people get when I was telling people about self-custody and wallet addresses, they're like, what? Like, it's so intimidating to them. But if you tell them, hey, what do you use? Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, BlackRock? Oh, they have an ETF. Just talk to them. Easy. They don't even have to think about it, right? Because they already know the brand, they already know the setup, they're comfortable with ETFs and much more. And the RIAs and the wealth managers are currently being educated about it. We know BlackRock and all these guys are going out, meeting with them across the country. And there's a lot of capital, with those RIAs and wealth managers. So they're going to start to allocate their funds. So I think the inflows will continue as that education campaign continues. And then the fascinating part, Sewell, is that come April 30th, Hong Kong is launching Bitcoin and Ether spot ETFs, and London is exploring their own version. So game theory is playing out. You're going to see many different countries and jurisdictions launch these ETFs, and especially ones with a lot of capital like Hong Kong and the UK, right? Obviously, the United States is the largest capital markets, but I think there's more to come with these ETFs.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about FOMO with meme coins and just crypto in general. Right now, you got FOMO with ETFs. Everybody wants to have the ETFs because they want to get the fees. They want a piece of that pie that's being dished out.
Yeah, mass marketing is going to follow it as well. I've been telling people, like, don't be surprised if you see an ad from Fidelity and these other players talking about Bitcoin. I'm already seeing their websites fully updated. I'm seeing digital ads from like these different players. So eventually it will spill over into traditional marketing, right? Whether it be print or billboards or TV, it's coming. Because like you said, they want to make the fees. They were incentivized to promote it.
Yeah, and even
you got
Coinbase
Kathy.
I was just going to say Coinbase has got some healthy, some really good ads as well. Just, as far as like the halving and just, talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got Kathy Woods running around saying $1 million per Bitcoin. she trying to pump those bags like big time.
I love Kathy, but she has some, like, it's just the other day I was reading it. Maybe it was this week. she said like 6 Ethereum will make you a millionaire by 2032. I'm like, come on, 6
She's just trying to
She's
pump.
losing it.
She's trying to pump her own funds
Yeah.
that have been underperforming now that
Talking
she's
her
actually
bag.
starting to grab that ETH and
Yes.
Bitcoin.
Exactly. They're going to be issuers of the ETH ETF as well. So she's talking her bag, and it's not so much for us. It's to bring in the crowd, the herd, the retail investors, right? Look, it's the game that's been played for a long time. Everybody does it, right? They talk their book and they give these outlandish price predictions. And so it is what it is. But I still love Kathy. I'm a big fan of her.
Yeah. Kathy got big wins under her belt. So let's take a moment and hit our commercial break. Make sure y'all tap in. Big shout out to our sponsors, NFD, Exit Market, and Gora. And then we'll be right back in a minute or so. So welcome back. We're here on episode 104 with Tony of Thinking Crypto. So let's get back to it. Tony, what are your thoughts on the H bar and BlackRock rumor? We can call it a rumor of them working together to tokenize assets.
Man, the Hedera Foundation did a great job playing with words, right? But it's like the saying goes, any news is good news, right? Even if you're getting called out for mincing words and framing it in the wrong way. But I think the main takeaway here, though, even if BlackRock themselves did not take this step to do this, their partner did, and that is they're tokenizing on the blockchain. So that's a win for the entire crypto industry, but also a win for Hedera. In addition, Hedera is working with Aberdeen, which is kind of the BlackRock of the UK. So they have big partnerships and they have people tokenizing and doing exactly what BlackRock's doing on Ethereum. So I think it's all good news. Just the framing, I think, threw people off because they were trying to say BlackRock themselves did it, but their partner did it, and they did tokenize BlackRock's fund. So I think it's a big win. It shows what's coming, and there's not going to be one blockchain to rule them all, and we're going to see all type of financial products and commodities and much more tokenized on the blockchain. So it's a big win. Just bad marketing tactics, or maybe it was good for them because they got
yeah. And that's the whole thing too. It's like, to me, it speaks for the space because it says more about like you got to be ready to capitalize on the market as it's moving and growing, right? And that's what Hedera did, right? They saw the ability to, hey, we could probably talk to these people, get them to put this product on our chain, because guess what? If you are a chain, you could have done the same thing that Hedera just did. And obviously, I think the price action of Hedera speaks volumes for the reality of it. It was kind of a mincing of words and kind of more hype and fluff than it maybe needed to be, because the price shot through the roof and then now it's almost all the way back down. And that's the thing about this space, is you have to be ready that there are some things that, if it happens on your blockchain or your token that you're using, the price may go up and it may hold. But most of the time when news drops, that is a sell event because, people are looking that, they bought in before when it was probably 20, 30, 40% lower, and then it pops 80%. Well, they're up 3x, 4x, whereas you're just buying thinking, oh my God, this thing's going to the moon. And then boom, you feel like you got rugged. And so I feel like that's something, especially as this bull market continues, like it's going to be hard to not get sucked into the FOMO. And that's where retail is, pour one out for all the people who are going to be coming in the next 6 months buying our bags as we exit and they jump in. But that's just how the cycles are going to play out. That's also why I don't tell anybody to buy anything right now. Not
Right.
anybody I know. I'm just like,
Exactly.
You can't, because you don't know, right? I remember buying Aerodrome when it was 3 cents, right? I was buying Aerodrome at 3 to 5 cents. If you don't know what that is, it's the leading DEX on Base right now, with the idea that I know Coinbase is going to list it. Like I was, pretty confident. And I thought, that's going to pump the price. Well, it did. And once they listed it, it pumped to like 25 cents. I took out a massive bag. And then literally the next day, Coinbase Ventures comes out and says, hey, we're going to back it. And that thing just took off to the $2. And I was like, no, like that. Like, that's just the thing, is you don't know if the news is going to be something that just keeps going or stops. But that's what we're playing right now in this space. And, just like the FOMO with, these big fund managers like BlackRock and the weight they can put, when they make a move, to even small things, like you got to be ready. But there's going to be a lot of money, needless to say, made over these next couple months. And I'd also be interested, Tony, to get your thoughts on the whole meme coin craze that we're seeing right now. Do you think it's over? I see so much on the timeline saying, meme coins are about to get wrecked. Like, it's a flight to utility that's coming, and all of maybe the laggards right now in the market, the Hederas, the Algorands, the Chainlink, all these things that should maybe be going up in value, even though you see whiff and bonk and, memes galore. What's your thoughts right now with that side of the market?
It's nuanced, right? Because I think there is some credence to that narrative that I think those laggards are going to move, right? Your Cardanos and so forth. But I don't think the entire meme narrative is going away, because it's a big driver of new people coming into the market and bringing in retail. I think we've seen a lot of that, right? People are attracted to these things. They're familiar with many of these memes, and they see the price action. Obviously, super risky, but I think Bitcoin's the rising tide that lifts all boats, and I think the liquidity will continue to move to these meme coins. The important thing, what you want to look at, is on the charts, does it look overextended? Does it look overbought? Some of them may be overbought and they're not really going to move much more, but others, new coins are coming in, and some that may have some room to grow or move will move as well. But so I don't think they're entirely going to get wrecked. I think some will, that are in that the RSI is overbought and all that stuff, and it has to cool down for a while. But man, I've seen crazy things in this market. So, and then I'm still waiting for Elon to come in and start his campaign with Doge.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Elon, because I had actually bought one on Base, and I think the original dev had actually rugged it, and he was already gone. And like the community was like a community takeover at this point, which some of those are the ones that do the best, which is funny. But is ski, right? So it's a picture of a golden retriever with a ski mask on. And at first, I bought it just thinking I was up a little bit, but then I don't know. I'm probably gonna butcher Camila Cabello or whatever. The girl who did the song Havana goes and changes her profile picture to one of the ski mask dogs, and she was just with Drake on vacation somewhere. So I'm like, please make a banger song and drop ski in that and send it to the moon. Like, that's all I'm at right now.
She's doing that. I'll buy that meme coin now. I mean, I wouldn't mind being on vacation with her, but
I mean, that's the thing. And here's the thing is, like, we're still not, like, I remember back in 2021, we are still not to that level of like proliferating the celebrities really getting in and moving into this space, because that's what's going to draw the normies. Me going on my podcast saying buy this, buy that, they don't care. Steph Curry flexing a higher hoodie, or LeBron James putting on a ski mask and saying ski, like, those are the things.
My thing with the celebrities that I see is FTX may have ruined that, because a lot of them are getting sued now because, Tom Brady was there, Curry, like you got, all
like it's sued.
Yeah.
It'll be a slap on the wrist. Like their agents will you know, there will be others, right? Maybe fresh ones that come in and get burned, but you know, they got the
They
money
had
to pay these
everybody.
fines. I mean, I literally
Yeah.
saw a tweet yesterday that's like the top draft in the women's NBA, her contract that she got for her deal, which was a big deal for women's basketball. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was Odell Beckham. It was some NFL player. Like, he's paid more. I think it was Tyreek Hill. He's paid more in
Yeah,
fines
Bitcoin,
than
right?
yeah.
Oh, I
She
thought he got paid in
no,
Bitcoin.
no, no, no. He's paid more in fines for his socks for not wearing socks at games than what she's going to get paid. So it's like these people got so much money, they don't
Oh,
care. Like, they really don't care. They will, you know,
that's ridiculous.
especially if their agent says, "Hey, I got a crap ton of this meme coin. I need you to go out and make a video, make a post about it."
Pump
Like,
that bag.
they'll do it. Exactly.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think we'll see some of it. As Sewell said, though, maybe a little less. You know, I remember Lindsay Lohan and a bunch of other people were getting involved. Kim Kardashian at one point, and then she got fined by the SEC. But the amount of money she made off versus what she had to pay was like nothing. So it's like almost a good business model. It's a good business. Like, pay me a couple million, I pay you $200,000 fine. Okay, I'll take that deal any day.
They got the Ric Flair Woo coin. Y'all see that with the 5 O's?
No, that's the funny thing is there can literally be a meme about anything. That's why I'm saying I should just write a book, say it's all memes. Like, everything is a meme if you really like break it and boil it all the way down. We do have a question from Ryan McDonald. I think it's something about FTX here. Question: so FTX lost funds may be refunded by the USD value at the time of failure, not the appreciation of the value of the asset since. Is this legal in a regulated market?
We'll pass that to you, Tony.
May be refunded by the US value at the time for and that's the tricky part. I think there's no way around how they would calculate this. They have to pick a moment in time and give back the funds based on the bankruptcy and what they can divide and split up and so forth. So it's a tough situation, unfortunately. This is why I self-custody a majority of my funds. Do I have a little bit on Coinbase? Yes. But this is the scenario with bankruptcy, unfortunately.
I still wonder if they're trying to reboot FTX. I know that was a thing that was getting talked about like a couple months ago, but I don't know, has that fully just fallen off the bandwagon now?
It seems like it, because that brand is tarnished. But I think some of these things are just optics, and it might be because of that FTT token. Like, oh, we're going to relaunch. So people get excited. Oh, so the token is still good. Maybe I won't dump it. Maybe I'll just hold on to it, right? I think there's a bit of that.
Yeah, and that I'm pretty sure that token's still in the top 100, right? Like,
crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. There's so many tokens in the top 100 now that it just blows my mind. We also have a question from Cloudy. Can we get an algo price predictions? Obviously not financial advice, but if I were a betting man, which I am, my thoughts are we will see, like Tony said earlier, we will see some of these laggards, the ones maybe that haven't made their big runs, that like others have. My conservative target for algo is anywhere between 77 cents to like $1.20. My higher, price predictions, if we get a just, crazy run and a lot of things check out, I think we get above $2. But above that, I really wouldn't, really know, because there is so much with, the last time Algorand was at $2, the supply was a whole lot less. Like, they did a lot of dumping from the last time that algo was $2. So it's going to take a lot to, I think, get above $2. But I think between that 70 cents, $1.20 is very, very possible, especially if we do get a really nice alt season. What are your all's thoughts?
Go ahead, Tony.
I pulled up the algo chart and I put a Fibonacci model based on the last cycle high. And look, from the initial launch where it was like up near $3 or $4, I think. Yeah. It didn't touch that. It didn't break that in that pump in 2020, 2021. It stopped out at just over the 618 on the Fibonacci. So the 618, let's say for argument's sake, it does the same thing here. It's about like $2.40. Now, if it goes higher, I'd love for it to maybe be around $5, but there's no guarantee, because like you said, supply is certainly a factor, and we'll see, how much liquidity is running through the alts, but I'm going to start taking profits based on my entry point, as soon as I'm in a good ROI percentage.
Yeah. That's where I'm at too. So when I've been looking at those charts, I'm a little bit more conservative. One is because, like, if you look at like Hedera right now, let's compare it to Hedera. if you look at their governance council, the names that they have listed as their partners and people are governing is, you know, a bigger fundamental thing than what Algorand has right now. We've seen Algorand announcements with FIFA and all these other things haven't really, you know, pumped the price as people would want it. Then, like Tony said, when you pull up that chart, it kind of makes me a little alarmed. And then I think a lot of people's mind is, where did I buy and where is the fastest I can make some type of return on my investment? Then I'm mostly out and then I'll let the rest run. So I'm kind of in that 50, 75 cent range. I think that could be a top in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We really don't know because there is so much unknowns with and there's so many new, like someone else said, I forget who it was on Twitter, but I was reading a thread and it's like a lot of people are expecting that, you know, when Bitcoin makes its new all-time high, that every crypto is going to have this massive rally. And the thing is, the market is so much more saturated every single cycle that that's just not going to happen. Like there are going to be things like, you know, WIF could literally run, because of the meme it could run to above 100 billion market cap, something insane that no one would think it would do. And think of all of that liquidity then that's sucked out of valuable, maybe utility blockchains and projects. Like that's what you have to think of. Yeah. It's a social aspect, you know, to when because there's the thing, when markets are running that hot, nothing makes sense. Everyone is literally FOMOing and buying anything and everything because they're just trying to make some money. And that's why you can't think about technical analysis and even fundamental analysis, because at that point, the gloves are off. People are just swinging. Like they're literally swinging for the fences, just trying to make something.
Because, you know, coins that were popping last cycle or 2021, right? You got Cosmos was up to $45 or something like that. It looked like a stable coin now. It's stuck around $8, $8 to $9 consistently. XRP been at the same price that I've seen it at since 2020. Cardano is basically stuck at, it's a stable coin. They're all stable coins for some reason. What's your thoughts on that, Tony?
Yeah, and it goes back to, you know, the meme coins are taking all the liquidity and attention right now, with the exception of Solana. You know, Solana's been a big
it's the meme coin casino, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of memes that are on it, right? So my hope is they don't continue to steal the show as much and the liquidity hits these laggards. And look, there's no guarantee that it will. I know that's not something people want to hear, but it's a scenario you have to be mentally prepared for. And these are the hard things to think about and to plan for, because we saw last cycle there was DeFi summer and then certain other coins didn't pump, but the DeFi themed coins were moving. Could that happen with meme coins this time around? Possibly. One of the things I diversified into were AI coins like Fetch and Render. So that's a big narrative that liquidity is going to go into. So I'm hoping if my Cardanos and XRPs don't perform as well, at least I have my AI coins that are going to make me money in addition to Bitcoin and ETH. So this is why I'm diversified, and you got to look at the market and be prepared that, hey, that coin that you may be banking on may not run. So diversify for sure.
Yeah, I think
there's two big narratives right now as well. Is we talked about tokenization or real world assets, and then DePIN, the decentralized physical infrastructure. And then, you know, we talk about Gora a lot as one of our sponsors. They're one of those Oracle plays that I do like. But yeah, go ahead, Crypto for Change.
I was just going to say that, you know, I think the best thing you could do right now, if you're someone who's coming into the market trying to, or maybe you've been in, but you're trying to really figure out, like, you know, what narrative should I, you know, kind of build my bag around. You got to be forward looking. You got to look at where are the users and where's the liquidity going to come. And that's why I think a lot of the people in the Algorand, at least that follow me on Twitter, kind of just calling me a shill now at this point. But hey, I like Base. And the reason why I like Base is because Coinbase has a lot of the liquidity. Yeah. They have the volume and they have the technology, in my opinion, that can bring on new users. They're about to drop the embedded wallets in the next coming weeks, which I think are going to bring in and make it a whole lot easier that people don't have to worry about seed phrases, like, and all the jargon with connecting dApps and, you know, oh, to buy an NFT, I got to sign 3 different transactions. Like, they're going to make it so easy that the onboarding process and the liquidity is going to flow. And that is my opinion. Like, even if you're not sure on a narrative, find a chain, find something that has the liquidity and you could see it continuing to grow as this bull market moves forward. Because that, in my opinion, is the best way to make money moving from here on out. Because if you're on one of these dead, not dead chains, but chains that are lagging, if you're on the XRPs, the Cardanos, the Hederas, the Algorands, like, even though they got great tech, that doesn't mean they got the liquidity that's going to cause the price of the token to go through the roof. So you just gotta, you gotta know what you're holding.
Yeah, great point. And I like to remind people, don't be married to these tokens, man. There's a lot of people, for example, as in the XRP community, and I hold XRP, and they always ask, why is it not moving? I'm like, we have to understand these factors. And are you diversified? Because I'm diversified. I'm not losing sleep. Would I love for the coin to start pumping and do much more? Sure. But I don't control that. I don't have any ability to control that. So I have to go and how the market's moving. You kind of have to be fluid here and see where the liquidity is flowing, like you said, David. So it's important for people to not be cultish about coins. Yes, you can have your favorites. Nothing wrong with that. I have my favorites, but I'm not married to it. I'm not like, oh no, I'm going to lose sleep. I'm going to be depressed because it's not moving. No, go where the liquidity is and leave your emotions and bias at the door.
Some people have been married to certain coins for 3-4 years now. They got a strong relationship, even when they're in some hard financial times. They're still like, we're gonna hold this marriage all the way through.
And that's where I feel like some people, and that's where like I said, I think it comes back to a psychological standpoint of what, as a human nature, we like community, and most of the people who are still in these cryptos and they've married their bags per se. It's because they've not really married their bags. I think they've married the community that's tied to their bags. Like, they don't want to lose the friendships. They don't want to lose the NFT, communities and all the things that have come with those to then go start a brand new, like, I have no idea how this blockchain works. I got to learn all the basics again. I think that is maybe the bigger reason why you have so many people who just stay stuck and don't want to. Yeah. You get comfortable and you're just to the point where it's like, it's ride or die. And
see where I'm at with this being married to these chains, I'm like, don't marry them. Like Tony said, you can have your favorite, right? Your community. Clearly, I've been in the Algorand community. Those are my dogs. Big shout out to the Algo fam. But I have always talked publicly about the Cosmos ecosystem. I very much so like that one. Shout out to Kimchi and Crypto for Change got me into Base. Now, Base is also one of my favorites. And then with that brand recognition, I do feel comfortable because I used to use crypto.com, started having little issues there. Then I went to Coinbase and I'm like, man, I should have been using Coinbase the whole time. It's simple, it's easy, and it seems to be in the favor of regulators. I've never been into Binance or anything like that. So my thing is, like, pick 3-4 chains and then explore them is what I would say to people. Don't get stuck in one situation.
Yeah.
It's not your wife,
All right. Great advice. And I hope people, it's resonating with people, that they realize, because I had to come to this realization. I hold Algo, I hold XRP, I hold Cardano, but at the same time, I make sure I'm balanced, right? I can participate in the community. I have friends in the community. That's totally fine. But dude, I'm here to make money, and I got to look for ways. I got to put food on the table, right? At the end of the day. So community is not going to pay my bills. Community is not going to build my retirement nest egg. So I'll hang, like, we all have Algorand, and we appreciate I interview Stacy and so forth. But Stacy and Algorand aside, what's the next AI token popping off?
Hey, we were in Render as well, what I mean? So it was like, it did good,
Yeah, I bought Render. I was telling people to buy Render around $1.30. I sold it. I sold most of my bag now at like right in between $9, $10, $11. I know it could run more. I may buy back in, but honestly, I took some of those bags out and I've got them sitting in some lower market cap plays now over on Base, because I feel like Base is going to have on-chain summer version 2. I think you'd be silly to fade, what Brian Armstrong is looking to do, because I think Coinbase is going to be the next Binance. I saw I think it was Arthur Hayes made a tweet saying Base is the Binance for white people, which maybe it is. Obviously, so I do know that Base is pretty much
he might be right though.
It's a massive group of Coinbase alumni, pretty much like building this thing out. So
you say for America, I think.
Yeah. I would maybe say more of that, but at the end of the day, it's like knowing what Binance did with CZ behind it. Like, why would you not bet that Brian Armstrong and Coinbase can't do the same thing. And the cool thing is Base doesn't have a token. So it's like that means the value is not going to get locked up in some main token. It can then go and proliferate to all the memes even more. It can go to this, the DEXs, the best NFT projects. Like it's going to be a very interesting model that plays out, I think. So
I was going to sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I love that model. The fact that they did not do a token, because that puts them in the clear, because, you still got the SEC, kind of tracking them a bit. And look, they're tracking everybody right now, but that was a smart move, and they just make money off the fees. Don't have to worry about a token. And they, like you said, that liquidity can go to different projects on Base and much more. And look, man, diversify, guys, diversify. Your goal here, make some life-changing money so you can make a better life for yourself. Don't be married to your tokens, man. But nothing wrong with communities, nothing wrong with supporting tokens, but also balance it out. What am I making money off of right now?
I got
look at Ryan's like, did you buy Algo at 9-12 cents? Maybe a little bit, but I'll tell you this, Algo's at like 19 cents right now, maybe 21 cents. So, and big shout out to Algo, but again, 21 cent from 9 cent is like maybe a 1x. And some things we've seen or have participated in has done some crazy numbers. And it all, it depends on your long-term plan, your short-term plan, your midterm plan. And I would definitely consider those things.
One last question I'd have, a little speculation for you, Tony, just because of people you've interviewed. What are what are your thoughts right now on if we will see an Ethereum ETF approved in the States in the month of May? Because I know that's a big thing that a lot of people are maybe trying to front run now with Ethereum, just like with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin kind of crashed when it actually got approved and launched, whereas now it's kind of shifted over to Ethereum. And what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, because there's usually a buy to rumor, sell to news event with things like these. So I think there's a low probability we see it in May. The SEC, there's rumors that they're investigating the Ethereum Foundation. It hasn't been confirmed. It hasn't been confirmed by them, but there's too much, I think, nonsense happening with at the SEC and Gary Gensler, and some of the issuers are saying they're not being very responsive. So it's not the same dialogue that was happening with the Bitcoin ETF, let alone this supposed subpoena or whatever the hell they're doing with the Ethereum Foundation. So I think the can is being kicked down the road a bit here. There's a delay, but could it come near the top? As you're saying, I have a theory that it might, and then it sends Ethereum to the moon. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Retail gets dumped on, bear market. You know how that story plays out.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I guess if it does get denied in, May, when is the next window then for proof? Is it ever like 3 months, right? Or roughly?
Yeah, 3 to 4 months, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But then we'll see. I was talking to one of the lawyers from Consensus, and he's saying, look, BlackRock, Fidelity, all these guys can sue the SEC. I don't know if Gensler wants to get involved with that. It was one thing to get sued by Grayscale and then you lost in court. What if you're getting sued by BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, and all these issuers? I don't think he wants to deal with that.
All right, here's how it plays out. He denies it. They start to do the lawsuits, and then we finally get the tweet notification that either he's stepping down or he's been fired. He's like, "No, I'm out. I'm done. I've done as much as I can. I'm ready for him to be fired." I think
the market will pump.
Hopefully that happens. The market pumps, then we get it approved, and then we can go into the bear market. But
I'm gonna have a party, dude. I'm gonna do like a 24-hour live stream once he
I will join you. Like let's plan it out. Let's do something. We can definitely co-op with that one.
So Tony, as we slowly start to close out, you want to give your book another shout out, let people know where to get it, and anything else you would like to share.
For sure. So the book, Rethinking Crypto, Crash of FTX, Rise of Safer, Stronger Digital Assets, available on Amazon, barnesandnobles.com. It's a great overview of crypto's past, present, and future. If you know about crypto, this is a great gift you can give to your mom, your family, your friends, and whoever who want to learn about crypto, because it breaks it down in layman's terms, and it gives a holistic view, the regulations, the technology, what does the future look like, and tips for investing in it. So it's really, I think, a holistic 360 view of crypto.
Nice. And obviously, if you're in the comment, if you're in the chat and you do go pick this book up, be sure to take a picture, snap it on social media, tag the next block, tag Tony from Thinking Crypto, just so we can give you guys a shout out, because obviously we want to support Tony. He has been obviously has a massive YouTube channel and a following, and we always appreciate him coming on our channel to share his wealth of knowledge that he's gained from many of his great interviews. So I will be going to Barnes and Noble to pick one up, and I'll be snapping a picture to show support. And you did. It's not tonight. I think you already did the book signing that's in New York, correct?
Oh, no. So it's next Tuesday, April 30th.
Okay.
So the New York peoples, come by. It's free. Get some food, drinks. And it's going to be at a Web3 hub called Station 3. And it's literally right across the street from the Wall Street Bull. So it's headed up. I don't know if you guys know Bob Lucas. He's a great analyst. He's on Twitter. He's on YouTube. He does like Bitcoin macro analysis. Amazing work.
Okay.
But he owns it, and you at the Station 3, you have a lot of Web3 entrepreneurs and innovators. So they help to support the entrepreneurs building in crypto.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm all the way down in Florida, so I'm not super close. But if any of our audience is in New York and you're close and you can make it out to that event, be sure to go check it out. Get a signed copy and chop it up with some other Web3 people that'll probably show up.
For sure. So thank you guys for having me. Appreciate you all. And there's still room, another leg up here, money to be made. But
hopefully we have another show near in the summer, or maybe even in the fall, where we can talk about all the spoils of war that we pulled away from the crypto markets.
For sure.
Yeah. Thanks again, Tony. See the rest of y'all next week. Have a good one. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.